on my trip up here from Florida to Wisconsin, hey, I try to listen, like I come sometimes I save my podcasts to listen because it's a 21-hour drive. I'm like, it's a 2.5 day trip. So I was listening to one of the podcasts I listened to is Micro, The Way I Heard It. And if you've never listened to them, he has his mom on from time to time. And she's a phenomenal woman in her 80s. And in her 80s, she became a New York bestseller on it. And so he'll call her, and this last one was a coffee talk with mom. And they banter back and forth. Well, she was telling him how she had a very good friend, a close friend, who unfortunately became a hoarder and really bad. But this was something different. It was to the extent where he actually held hoarding in his pants. He only wore cargo pants with all the different pockets, and he would stuff them with so much he couldn't get through doorways.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard of that.
No. But um, the unfortunate thing was this gentleman did end up passing because there was so much stuff in his house he couldn't get to his medication. And I was thinking back of our conversations in the past of my decluttering because I've had to move and then move and then move and then move, you know. And I'm now, when I was coming up here and packing, I like looking at things differently. Like if I haven't used it in a certain point of time, I really have a conversation with myself on why am I saving it. I still have grandma's vase though. That is going nowhere. You guys have known about that vase. It does not come to Wisconsin with me. It's down in Florida. I'm not that anal that I bring it back and forth. But um, but if I really don't, and if I've forgotten something, how can I make do and not buy the same thing again?
Hmm.
So I know we've talked about decluttering. Have you guys, I mean, we talked a couple episodes ago about travel tips and packing, and it's kind of a way of like we bring too much and we have too much and we do too much. And maybe decluttering is not the right word. Is it using your stuff purposefully, like just using what you have? What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I totally agree with everything you just said. I know that for me, I have things and I get caught in the I'll deal with this later trap. So I will, especially like in my office with papers and um, articles that I've printed out that I think, oh, this is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to read this and, I'll have all these light bulb moments take off on me and whatever. And I'll be like, but I'll get to that later. And I put it down on my desk. And so I have nice big piles of paper sitting on my desk. Um, yeah, like there's so many things as I even just look around this office and go, that stuff's been sitting there for over a month and I haven't touched it, like haven't even looked at it.
Yeah,
And it begs the question, like, then do you really want it? Do you really need it? Is it really useful? And my logical argument would be to answer that question would be, well, I don't know because I'm not really 100% sure what's in that pile. So like I'd have to go through the pile first and then let you know, right? That's where my
right.
brain wants to go instead of obviously not because it's been sitting there for a month and I'm pretty sure it will sit there for another month.
And then and I don't mean this in a pun. I say to myself, why don't I have the time to read that article? Why don't I like, where's my time going? Because I think sometimes we think we have to be doing all this stuff when we might not be using. So to me, there's like two things going on here. So when I'm overwhelmed in a room and I just look at there's too much clutter, I sometimes just set a timer for 15 minutes, 10
Hmm.
minutes, even 5 minutes, and just concentrate in that one area
Hmm.
to put things away, to double check it, like to make sure that I need it. And I know maybe this is because I live in two different homes, but Tracy E, you had noticed, you had said something in our travel episode a couple ago about how you take a picture of things and like how you circled, I didn't need this and this and this. Well, I have brought things that now I have doubles up here because I couldn't remember where it was.
Hmm.
So now that's part of what I'm going to be doing is when I leave, take the pictures so I know what I have up here. And I don't have to go with that clutter aspect of it. I mean, we live in a society that's always like bye 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 the next best thing and here you go and let's
Yeah.
go on. And there are times where I'm like, oh, that broke. I need to go get a new one. Well, do I? Do I? Do I really? How much should I use it? Is it something I really needed? It's that type of stuff. And I think decluttering, I think that's, how do I want, it's good for the soul. It's good for that. It like lightens my load. For me, it lightens my load because I find things, when I have things that are neat and clean, I find myself a little bit more productive.
Hmm. For sure. But Tracy, you mentioned something, a rule or something. What was that thing that you were talking about
Mm,
off camera? You mentioned
yeah.
something.
Oh, the 30-day decluttering rule. If you
Yeah.
haven't used it, you toss it. So it's
So I
like,
have 30 days to decide if this is
yeah,
enough
30
of my
days. I mean, and
life.
that's
I
just an
have to hold
arbitrary
on to
number.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Do I, like, are you going to read it, Tracy, or are you not? Like, get rid of it. It's obviously, if it's been sitting there for 30 days,
Maybe I've been busy
how
for
it,
30 days.
huh?
Maybe I've been busy for 30 days.
Okay, but that's different. Like if there's been like I was gone for a month, so like
Right.
Okay, just
obviously
wait.
that
Okay.
doesn't count,
So wait,
right?
just wait. To
Okay.
be clear, I bring something into the house or
Yes.
whatever, and if I haven't touched it within 30 days, then I should be rethinking whether it should live with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that to a certain point. I can't see that on everything I have.
Not no, I mean, I think the directive is when you are looking around, like as I look at my desk, for example, and I have uh, you know, two large piles of paper that are all piled up, okay? It's it's looking at that and going, okay, like this is just simply collecting dust at this point. Like I can't even tell you what articles are in there for me
Right.
to read, other than the fact that at some moment in time, I something caught my eye. I went, I'm going to print that off and I will look at that later. But it never became important enough for me to come back to it later, and it's just still sitting there. So I have that comfort right now of going, oh, well, I can like dig that out, whenever I want to. But I mean, I don't even know what pile I'd have to go through to dig it out from. So like there's that. But I mean, obviously the things that you use and you are, your books and stuff like that. We're not talking about stuff like that. We're talking about
Okay.
things that are just they come into your house in whatever shape or form. You're moving from one location to another. You have a bunch of stuff. Maybe it sits in a box for over a month because you haven't unpacked it. It's like, well, how important then is that stuff that's been sitting in that box? You
Right.
thought it was important, and maybe it's
Right.
important for the other location, but I think the idea is that it's worth looking at that and going, do I need it?
Yeah.
And I
Okay,
think if
so
we answered that question, no, I don't need it, and I actually disposed of it in whatever fashion is most reasonable, then the amount of clutter that you would be accumulating would become less and less and less. And I think you would also, I know for me, I think I would be, if I was to implement this rule, I think I would be more inclined to say, you know what, I'm just going to deal with this stuff that's on my desk. And you know what, I'm probably sure that 90% of what's in that pile is going to go in the recycling bin.
see,
Guaranteed, because it's old information.
let's just take the article thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm not gonna print it out. I'm gonna
Mhm.
put it aside in a folder for that my iPad I have access to.
Yep.
And then when I'm ready, because it might not be 30 days, but there was, like you said, something that really intrigued me. And now when I'm taking my moment in time at night or whatever, I will go to that. I can now delete it if it's no longer relevant, but I haven't I have like it's like, oh, that's really interesting. I want to take time to really dive into it, but I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to put it on a device that allows me to read it and then decide to delete it.
So here's my question. How do you remember to go back to it?
Mhm.
Oh, because I do all my reading on, so I have everything. I put all my books into the iPad. I just that's where I go for like, okay, I'm gonna go through some stuff. Like
So
like that.
so you set time aside,
Mhm.
not at some point
Okay,
you're like,
I set time aside, and I
Mhm.
could have a
yes,
stack like this, which would be on your desktop, on your
Mhm.
thing,
Mhm.
but
right,
it's in
Mhm.
my thing, and and I'm like, I definitely want to read that. I definitely want to read that. And the beauty is, then I could go. It's no longer relevant. I can delete it, or I've highlighted the crap out of it.
right. But I think that's the key too. So
Yeah.
um you have time set aside to go through that. I'm more I was more like Tracy E, like, oh, I really want that. And I used to be like that with the self-help books. Oh, I gotta read that. I have to read that. I have to get that. I have to get that. And they would just sit and build up all this dust because I never made the time.
But I'm going to challenge you on that. That there should be a filter before you even bring that into
Yeah,
your world, where you go, you don't have to wait the 30 days, because you go, here's another one of those books, and that's got some good stuff, but it's all stuff I already know, so, or I've heard or read, so I'm not going to bring it into my life. I'm going to go,
right,
you know what,
right,
I don't need another one of those in a bit of a different variation. And
right,
that's
right.
what I've really controlled. I used to be a
Yes,
download hoarder. I'd be taking,
right.
and I stopped.
Yeah.
I
And I
stopped. I
think
went,
that, and
I'm
yep,
regurgitating. I'm reading the same stuff I either know, or I tell
yep,
other people, or
yep,
I've learned years ago. I don't need any more of that.
right. I agree. I agree. So I think before that's what I was saying a little bit. I think there's some when there's a buildup of clutter, I do think there's becomes a little bit of an overwhelm, and then there's a time management issue.
Mhm. Yeah. Because what you're
Because
talking about isn't clutter, Tracy. That's not clutter.
Okay, define clutter. What's clutter?
Clutter is what's sitting on my desk right now. I just reached in and look at one of the things that I printed out near the bottom. It's dated 2019. So like how relevant is that information today, right now? It's 2025. I bet you that whatever's in that article, the Art of Embracing Uncertainty is the name of the article. I'm pretty sure that I could write that article at this stage of my career, and there's probably nothing in there that is new to me. But it's
Right.
been sitting there since, 2019 when I did not know that information. That's clutter.
Okay.
so let me ask you this question, Tracy E. What if you were to pick up that pile and just turn and throw it out right now?
God, my heart just like it makes me want to like throw up. Like just I would, no, I couldn't do that. I would have to just, I would have to like, I can throw this one out. I'll throw this one out. How about that? Here we go. The art of embracing uncertainty. There we go. I don't even need to look at that. Gone.
What
My
if you
other
did that
question,
once a day?
yeah,
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, it is just that it's just a question of taking that act and saying, you know what? Like, how many other things here can you get rid of? Like, what's this one about? Uh,
And I'm a shredder too. So if I have those and then I shred it, it just feels so good. It's like I got rid of something and I made it small. So do you
yeah.
shred things, Tracy?
a shredder? I don't have a shredder.
See, right then you would have taken that, you would have put it through your shredder, and you would have felt like $1,000,000. I'm
Really?
telling you.
I don't
I'm
know.
Yeah,
telling
because
you.
There's a part
it's
of me
like
that wants to reach under my desk and grab that article and go, "Are you sure there was nothing in there?"
And it would be gone. And you would, you know what? It would
yeah,
be gone and you wouldn't even think
and
about it.
beyond I am
You
out.
wouldn't even think
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, you're looking
So
at that garbage can, you go, well, maybe I should just take a little look.
yeah, but here's my other question. When you find the article, why don't you read it then?
That's a really good one. I mean, that's a really good one. So why don't I read it
Because that's
then?
what I found myself.
Because you know what
I
I
would
do? I go into this perfectionist mode of, well, I need my highlighter. I'm gonna want to take notes. I'm gonna want to do all this stuff with this piece of information that was clearly so important that I had to print it out. So like I can't just, you
six
know,
years ago.
yeah, like I have to give it its due diligence, right?
Because
Yeah, and I
if
get
you're
held up in that
looking,
kind of
if you're
nonsense.
looking, that means you have time right now. How did you find that article? You were
Yeah,
probably researching or searching. So what if you're searching, you found something you like, why wouldn't you just finish finish the
the
job? Go, oh,
task
I found something
right
I
then and there.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, this is no longer relevant. I could, write circles around this.
Yep.
Because to do it later is just so much easier to do. I'll do it later. Very, very easy
You gotta
to
get a shredder.
procrastinate
You
on that.
gotta print and
I gotta
shred.
get a
Print
shredder.
and
I'll get a
shred.
shredder. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yep. It's
you
not.
know,
It's I think we all have there is something within each of us that looking like for Tracy G and I and that pile of papers. Yes, I used to be very much like you, Tracy E, to the point where when I had to do one of my umpteen multiple moves, it was like I literally had boxes of papers in a closet. And when I had to get rid of that stuff, it wasn't a hoarding thing. It was
yeah,
just old things. And I found a place that can have the important documents shredded and the other items were just thrown out. When I got done with that, I was like, never again. Like it was just so overwhelming.
yeah.
So I do think there are things within that it's just difficult to let go of at times. So I like the way your 30-day rule is because I know one of it is if you haven't done it, used it in 30 days to get rid of it.
Mhm,
And it just is like, I think when I looked at the list you sent us, it says it's action, like you're taking action at it.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
you constantly look at something over there and it's like you look at it and it just like weighs on you, weighs on you, weighs on you. But a 5 minute timer, 10 minute timer, 15 minute timer, like it's just that action. Or like Tracy G said, okay, you just threw one piece of paper out. How about tomorrow you throw one more piece of paper out?
Mhm.
You think about it that way, that's an action taken. It's 10 seconds. And at the end of 30 days, that pile will probably be that big,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
from
I
that.
can't imagine there's that much in here that's that important anymore.
Yeah.
And this is
Awesome.
what I figured out for me is that back in the day, we had to hold on to stuff because everything was hard copy.
Yep.
Everything was like, if you wanted information, you had to go to the library. Nothing was at your fingertips. It's
No.
all like, unless it's something
Right.
medical or some recipe that can never everything, if I lost that what was it, embracing change? If I
Yeah.
lost that, you could find it, probably a better one, in two
Oh
seconds.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have to be the holder of all of this anymore because it's all
Yeah.
out there
No.
available to me if
Hmm.
I need it. I
Hmm.
Yeah.
think you have, because of our ages, we grew up when you did. You went and
Yeah.
all
Uh-huh.
those big books that had all that information, and you don't need it.
Yeah. I also think that the way you are with your job, that because you are doing a digital job, you have embraced digital technology
Yeah.
in a much different way than I have. Like, I mean, somebody gave me a Kindle once and I, downloaded a bunch of books on it and whatever, and I couldn't do it. I was like, this is not reading. This is not reading to me. I need the book. I want to turn the pages. I want to flip to the end and find out what happened. Like I can't do that on a Kindle. Not easily for me, right? It was
Which is
like, oh,
weird.
now I have to learn all these new things in order to be able to do it. I know you're shaking your head, but for
No,
me,
but it
it's
was
like
weird. It
I
was
do.
weird because I used to read like the books whenever I did, like, just to let my brain have a moment. And they were huge books, and I would be holding them, and it's like these are so big hardcover books. And now it's like bing, bing, and I love it because you don't have to hold these big heavy books. I love, like, but then I go, it's probably bad for my eyes, but
I also what's interesting is that I also save articles on my phone and I don't save them for very long. So I'll go in and I'll be, I'll sit for like 10 minutes in the morning and just like quickly scan some news stuff or whatever. And then I'll go, oh, there's an article on dementia. I'm going to keep that. There's an article on weightlifting. I'm going to keep that. There's an article on protein. I'm going to keep that. And then I do go back to those and I will read them and delete, 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 delete. So it's really interesting. I don't have the same habits on my digital product as I do.
because you can do that anywhere, because your phone is with you anywhere.
I mean, you're
You can do
absolutely
that
correct.
anywhere.
You
You
can
could be
do it
sitting
anywhere.
at,
Yeah. Yeah.
sitting in the car
Yeah.
waiting for something. You could go, you know what? That's the difference, I think, because you're
Mm-hmm.
physically, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But
by the next time we talk, I'm gonna get rid of this whole pile of paper. How's that?
okay. You heard that here, viewer.
That's you.
Yes. But I like that. I mean, I know none of us, the three of us are in the hoarding mode, but sometimes I feel like I am when I get overwhelmed with certain things. Like I got in yesterday, to be very honest, and I just undid all my suitcases and shoved everything in drawers because I had to start my day today. And there's part of me that can't wait for the weekend because, and I probably won't, it'll start tonight, that I'll pull one drawer out at a time and like refold the clothes and understand exactly what I have. And I already have this huge bag that I'm donating in because I still had a bunch of clothes up here, and from my surgery, it's no longer applicable for me. So I have that, but yeah, it's just driving me nuts.
And the other thing I love about, an episode previous about going away and traveling is you don't have any clutter. You have what you have in your
Mm-hmm.
suitcase, and that's it. And you don't bring more in because you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to want to travel with it. So you
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
just live within this container, and it's
Yep.
awesome. It's
It
Right.
is awesome. I'm telling you, I think one of the reasons that I love like camping and doing those types of things is because I have nothing with me. I have the bare
Yep.
essentials,
yeah.
and that is it. It will include one good book though.
Oh yeah.
And not on a
Yeah.
Kindle.
Not on a Kindle and not on my phone because maybe you can't get internet service.
Now, so how do you feel about clutter? What do you think about doing a 30-day challenge? Would you like us to dive deeper into that? Would you like us, when we're all done with our traveling, maybe try to do that type of challenge and have more conversation about it. Put it down in the comments for us. And share this with somebody that maybe is struggling with some decluttering or clutter. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit notifications so you know when our next episode is out. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.